I'm glad everyone's wearing their pants and not in their underwears. So when he's loading this up, I do also want to say that I actually haven't done much international work. My extent of international work is doing some rice bagging in India during the tsunami, and traveling to India a lot for weddings. So when they asked me to come here and speak, I was like, well, what can I talk about? I don't really go to Cambodia and set up schools or set up wells in Africa, but I do a lot of stuff in town. They're like, yeah, that sounds good. I'm like, well, I can talk about hyper-local organizing. And they said, sure. So that's sort of the context, and I hope you can enjoy the journey with me. Okay, so community organizing. I think most of us in this room, in some capacity or another, has done that, right? So are people pretty comfortable with community organizing? Yay! This is a nice open source, crowdsourced social experiment. I'm hoping that most of these will be, in line with what my assumptions are. Okay, how about community organizing and the taboo of online community organizing? Yeah, you feel comfortable with it? Okay. Okay, I want to see like 2 million hits in like 3 days on a video you've done on a campaign. Or the run to end poverty, having like 1 million people worldwide running. That's what I'm talking about. So online means making it, going from the local space, which is what we do really well. Community organizing is about local organizing. And then taking stuff online and then making it this global online movement. And so I think that's what we're going to be trying to do in the little time I have. So yeah, good. So we have a group of people, that's the community. We have some sort of community action like painting storm drains, fish on storm drains, and we're pretty excited. And then we go, yay, we got in the media, and people like what we did. Let's keep doing this every year. So it kind of works, and it's been working for a long time. But I think the next step is to look at this new internet media and see what we can do with all of these things. So, of course, most people fear this stuff, and especially with traditional people who do communications, they're really scared. So, it does scare a lot of people, and it scared me. I didn't use Twitter for a long time, until 2009, but once I started and I saw all these other people using Twitter, it's been very effective. And I say this because it's your media. This is your time to shine, and it's your time to share your story. So it's all about sharing stories and different data pieces that you have and putting it online. So if you take the same example, what we're trying to do with new media is taking stuff back to the community. So that's actually community building. So taking things like getting people to do this action and then actually empowering them to keep doing it and telling their own story and not letting the media own it, but letting them own that story will help empower them for a long time and let them keep doing that. So here's some projects that Sasha was mentioning. I'm pretty excited about them. Canadians for Obama, we had 20,000 phone calls. Lead Now, we helped change the dynamics of Canadian politics. How many people saw shit Harper did? Yeah, that was the first time I've ever seen poop trend on Twitter at the same time as Harper, so that was pretty fun. So that was really cool to see 1.5 million page hits crash our server in 4 hours. And Margaret Atwood liking what we do. This is Margaret Atwood, right? Yeah. This is pretty cool. We didn't ask her for help. We just said, this is what we're doing. We're giving good content, and instead of doing it and asking the media to share our story, we're like, here's YouTube. Let's put it on YouTube and see what people say. Here's our website. What do people think? And using that as a test has been very successful. And then we run a lot of other things like Easter May, Here's So Cool Planet. We got 15,000 people or 10,000 people on a bridge to fight climate change, and a bunch of local stuff. Run Changi, Co-op Culture, and Vivan City. So yay! But I'm not going to talk about these things. I'm going to share a couple other stories. So this is 2 recent stories that I really like, or one big story that just happened about a week ago in New York. But it was shared to me through social media, and I wouldn't have found it otherwise. So people probably heard about the red paperclip. Yeah? Right? So this guy, if you haven't heard, this guy Kyle, he didn't grow up here, but he grew up in Canada, and he's lived in BC and Montreal. He basically tried a game called Bigger and Better. And isn't it great? Yeah, Rebecca likes it. So Rebecca, he traded this paperclip. You know what? what he got in after 10 trades? He got a house. Okay, how the heck did you get a paperclip from a house? Well, he posted this on Craigslist, and that led to a fish pen, that led to a boot, and that kept going into a house in Saskatchewan. So in Kipling, Saskatchewan, he got a house. He became the mayor of the day of Kipling. He wrote a book about the thing. Kyle also became the Guinness World Record holder of the most successful internet trade ever. They also erected the world's largest paperclip in the city. And my favorite, he traveled to Japan to be on one of those game shows. I love those game shows, and I've always wanted to be on it, and he was on it for that. That's pretty cool. So this paperclip guy, he knows how to tell a story and use social media. That's pretty cool. There's these guys, Tom and Gary. Has anyone ever been to their decentralized dance party? So this is great. I'm my #1 fan in the crowd. So Tom and Gary is really cool. They're two friends that set up this thing where they share boomboxes and they go around in public spaces playing music on the same frequency, and they're the DJs. They got 15,000 people during the Olympics and the 1-year anniversary after the Olympics on Granville Street, sharing 150 boomboxes together and dancing in like ridiculous clothing. Pretty cool. And they've been doing this nationally, and they're going on a big tour on that. So these guys, the Red Paperclip guy and Tom and Gary, partnered together, and last week they just posted a video, store buyout. Okay, now put your hands up. Who's heard of store buyout? Yes! Oh, one person. That's my brother. Damn it. So this is the power of social media. It hasn't hit the airwaves here in Vancouver yet, but it has hit CNN, and it's had many New York channels. Store buyout. Okay, this guy, Hercules, amazing guy. He runs a little shop in East Side in New York City. It's a little mom and pop shop, as you can tell. It's like a corner store. They have bubble gum and beer, because it's America. They can sell beer in their convenience stores. This guy was going out of business in 2 weeks. Tom and Gary, the Red Paperclip guy, and 3 friends came together and spent $10,000, and they bought out the whole store. Bought everything in the whole store, all the beer, and he had to bring everything through, and all the paper towels and all the gum. They bought everything. So that was about, I think they estimated about $10,000. So this shows that these group of people who know how to use social media came in and tried to save this guy. And now they're making an art piece out of it. So they actually got a space in the museum to sell these pieces of things. So like a beer can or a Pepsi can or like a lighter. And they're selling it for big money. And using that money to help this guy and also for themselves in terms of moving this movement. So that's pretty cool, and that's their story. Oh, so that's the story of Kyle and Gary. It's great. So what's your story? Or what's the story of the people that you work with? And we want to hear. So make sure you set up a website, a sharing website, not one of those old HTML ones, a sharing one, which has a blog, which has a embedded video or YouTube sort of component, and some sort of photo component as well, where you can share Flickr. And of course, you have to use social media. So use Twitter, Facebook, and whatever else you can find. Like you can share music with SoundCloud and all these other things. And then share your story. You still don't believe me? Well, these amazing change agents have recently started speaking on Twitter for their causes. Includes Mark, as we mentioned, from Sasha. He's on Twitter. That's pretty cool. And if you didn't go to Epic, he had personal one-on-one time with George Topolopoulos. And it would have been great just for him, but he actually was able to get George to tweet him. And George has a lot of followers, and I think that helped Mark understand the power of Twitter.
Yeah,
so, exactly. Oh, oops. Not only that, SF3 Diasporas, I don't know if they're here, but Ginny, are you here? Anyway, they're using Twitter now. So is Sean Smith with Global Agents of Change. We also have Annabelle and Sasha on Twitter. I was pretty excited. Now they have their own personal voice and they can share it. So they have these ones that are professional, but they also have their personal ones. Even my dad, who's in the audience, he's 67 and retired. Has anyone ever seen my dad's tweets yet? You can follow him at Ajay Puri. And he's cool because he's just retired and he's like, what do I do now? He loves cooking. So if you like Indian cooking and fusion cooking, you can follow him on Twitter and see what he's cooking up. And this is really fun. So, okay, hashtag Canucks, hashtag bring it home, ban Canucks, and many other things around Canucks are trending. They're like 80% of any time there's a game on, it trends almost the world. It's crazy. Yeah, oh wow, Dev drinks the hashtag our event is trending. Yay! Good job, Jess. So the point of this is actually, I don't think anyone's heard of Harnayan Singh, but he's known on Twitter as I Sing. Get it? I Sing. H-I-C. He does Punjabi broadcasting for the hockey games. Like, you can watch the whole game in Punjabi. That's pretty cool. And I'm pretty impressed with this guy. And I think there must be other languages where we can learn this and export it. So youth love hockey, but now it's going to the older generations. So like people like not my father, but people in my father's generation who don't speak English that well, can follow hockey when they used to know their old sports in their home countries. They can now follow it with their children here and not feel separated. So instead of the kids going out to a bar, they're actually watching it at home with their grandparents. Pretty cool. So hopefully in this like 8 minutes I had, I've turned the question box to a check box. And yeah, you can follow me, tweet me. We won't have many opportunities for questions, I guess. Or
yeah, just do a quick shout out.
Oh yeah, okay. So you can tweet it to Jess if you want, to @Masala Puri or Dev Drinks if you have a question, if there's one up there. Or if you have a quick question on how to share your story or anything else I talked about, feel free to ask.